All right, here's the deal. There has been a lot of discussion that I've seen floating around about Watanabe's new CN frame, the fire tank frame that has power crept Nanami Starfarer on the CN server. And I've seen some really interesting takes about it. Some of them are kind of dumb, I'm not gonna lie. And others maybe are a little more reasonable. Like for example, a dumb take that I saw, somebody left in the comments on my last video that I posted last Friday saying things like, oh, well, Nanami Starfarer is kind of weak, so it makes sense for her to be replaced. Did you watch the other video? There are still 4 Gen 1 frames that have not been updated. Have you seen the state of the ICE team? Ayla's been carrying that whole team on her back for months on the CN server, and they have yet to do anything for Lucia Plume or Chrome Glory. And you have the audacity to sit here and be like, yeah, well, Nanami Starfarer was kind of weak, so it should be fine. No, God, what do you think? Just like think for a second about it. Like, geez, it blew me away. But look, I'm not arrogant enough to think that I'm infallible, and maybe I'm wrong. You know, there's always a chance that I'm wrong. I don't think I am, but you know, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one with opinions or thoughts on it. And so that's what we're going to look at today. So the lovely Lena and Ivy over at Grey Raven Radio have released a video talking about Watanabe's new frame and talking about some of the discussion going on around it. And I think they give their own take in it. I haven't actually watched it, but I do have permission to take a look at it and react to it. So I want to take a look at it, see what their take on the whole situation is and how they're breaking it down, because, you know, they've got some great content that they posted for the PGR community. I'm really interested to hear what they have to say about the whole thing. So we're going to jump into that video now and take a look. But before we do, make sure to drop a like and subscribe on the channel, guys. Original video is going to be linked in the description down below. I gotta say this to you before we start. I'm not actually mad that he's got a new frame. I'm mad that he was a fire tank. I just want that to be clear. That's all. I think his frame's really cool. I do think he looks really cool. And I'm not trying to make people like really mad or anything about it, but I still don't understand why. It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. Let's see what Grey Raven Radio have to say.
Watanabe's new frame was just revealed in the Chinese beta of PGR.
True.
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets.
And people have
true.
a lot of feelings about him.
As a man can confirm.
A lot of mixed feelings.
Yeah, I do have mixed
Why
feelings
is
about
there
it. That's
a
true.
problem? Unexpectedly, or
Because he's a fire tank. That's why.
maybe somewhat expectedly for Kuro, Watanabe is a fire tank. With the current
Thank
meta
you.
in the Chinese version of the game, people have been crying out for an ice attacker and an ice tank and a physical tank. So everyone was
That's what I've been saying. That's literally what I said in my video. I pointed out specifically the 4 units. Like, gosh. I mean, so far I feel right. I feel validated.
positive that would be one of the next arrivals. But to see
Yeah.
Watanabe completely outclass Nanami Starfarer just
rip.
over a year after her debut, it has a lot of people mixed.
I like the Big
thing
Mech
is,
gameplay.
I wonder if we should actually be concerned. What's coming next? What has just passed? I thought it might be fun to chat about it.
That's a
The
fair
patch
point.
that comes right before Watanabe is Blackrock Shooter. Blackrock Shooter is a
Blazing
fire
simulacrum.
attacker. She's A rank, so she's not gonna outclass Lee, but she is a great starting character for new players especially, and collabs are kinda known for bringing in new players.
That's totally fair. I mean, I think she's a really exciting looking unit. Her animations, she's an A rank unit, but if you have not seen her gameplay yet, Blackrock Shooter has like clear S rank animations and quality to her character design and build, but she's an A rank unit that you're going to be able to get fairly easily. So, I mean, look, that was a great decision. Stoked about that. Very exciting to make, you know, the collaboration really accessible.
If new players join the game and they have this cool A rank fire attacker, there's a pretty good chance they'll want a good new tank to go with her, right? It's easy to overlook the fact that new players could really benefit from something like this.
Yeah. Well, I understand we want to take into consideration new players. You want to be able to onboard new players into the game a little easier. It still doesn't make sense from an overall game balancing perspective for me, though. I still don't think it justifies it enough. And fair point. I just still don't think that it's enough.
But that's not all. Watanabe will be around October, November-ish, something like that.
Yeah, about a year out.
The Chinese anniversary for PGR is the 5th of December. That's pretty close. In fact, that should be right after Watanabe. Last anniversary in the Chinese version, they had 3 S-rank characters back to back to back. Those being Lee, then Isla, then Alpha.
I will mention, because I don't know if they're going to mention this in this one for global players who don't know, you will be able to get Isla for free. So it is like 3 S-rank characters back to back, but it's still, we enter into a phase where we pretty much only get S-rank and A-rank Omniframes moving forward, but it alternates A and farmable units in between. So you still have time to save for like Lee Hyperreal and Lucia Crimson Weave. So don't stress too much about that if you're stressing about the idea of 3 S-ranks being back to back.
Who we have yet to see in global. So my question, the thing that I'm wondering is,
she looks so
what
good,
is Kuro cooking? Do they have some special plans coming up for the anniversary characters? Maybe they've been saving that level of hype character, something to rejuvenate the ice team or maybe the physical team for the anniversary.
I mean, it's a fair point. Like, Lucia is kind of like a flagship character for the game. Like, Lucia Plume as well as like Alpha / Crimson Weave. So, like, I can kind of understand maybe they're looking at setting up a new, like, Lucia frame or something in that case. Like, just kind of like an updated ice. But, like, I don't know if that would make sense to do, like, another ice Lucia. Typically when you're updating a unit or you're giving a different frame, like you're kind of slotting into either a different element or a different like role within a team. So I don't, if they released 2 ice Lucias, I will be shocked. I will eat my shoe.
Maybe they'll release 2 ice characters back to back in a row. And I think anything short of that might ruffle a lot of feathers at this point.
Yeah.
Fire Tank Watanabe seems really out of left field right now, but maybe it will make more sense in the future with a little bit more foresight. What I'd like to personally see is a free S-rank Omniframe next patch after Watanabe, and then another S-rank character after that, and perhaps that would be enough to rejuvenate the ice team.
I mean, I think I understand you put the speculation flag there. I think it's totally fair to assume that the next S rank after Watanabe is going to be like, quote unquote, free if it's like another farmable S rank. Like, literally every other patch has been like, from here on out is A rank or farmable S rank. So I think it's a very safe assumption to assume whoever's after the Fire Tank Watanabe or Uncle Watanabe here, that it's going to be free or farmable. But like another S rank after that, that's also free or farmable. I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it.
In the Chinese version right now, the ice team is so outdated.
Thank you.
Is really the only up-to-date character in the ice team, with Lucia Plume and Chrome Glory falling very far behind at this point. In particular,
Ayla's already carrying the whole ice team on her back, which she already shouldn't be doing because I don't know if you've noticed the weight on her chest as well.
Lucia Plume and Chrome Glory falling very far behind at this point. In particular, Plume does not really feel that fun to play. Not for the amount of time she's been meta anyway.
I think she's fine. I don't personally have Plume on my account, so I've only really used her in story and trial stages to actually like try her out. And like, yeah, she's fine. I wouldn't say she's anything to write home about.
A lot of people have also been asking, why couldn't they just leap Liv Imperia or maybe Nanami Starfarer to catch them up? I have a bit of a take on leaps.
Okay.
I think that although it's really nice when a leap makes a character meta, like in the case of Liv Luminance or Rosetta Rigger, or even Lee Palefire, I think that Kuro's main goal with leaps is simply to make characters fun. If you're a new player, especially, it feels really bad if you pull a character and you're like, oh yes, I got this awesome character, Bianca Veritas, and how is she anyway? And then they just get told, oh, well, Bianca Veritas is a really old character, she's super outclassed, and you should kind of feel bad about pulling her. And they're like, oh, well, that sucks. Well, now I just feel like I wasted my pulls on this character who looked cool, but wasn't actually any good. Like, maybe they intentionally pulled for this character, maybe they got her by accident. But thanks to Bianca Veritas's leap buff, you know, she's a little bit closer to the current standard.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, I know they're just using Bianca Veritas as an example for this, But if I was a new player right now, and kind of the first S rank you got from the beginner banner, like the beginner standard banner that you get in like 40 pulls or whatever, if I got Bianca Veritas, not gonna lie, I'd be like a little disappointed. Just because like in a few patches, Lucia Crimson Weave is coming. I'd feel pretty mid about it at this point, even with the leap. I'm not gonna lie, but that's me personally. I mean, I still use her a lot right now. She was one of the first S ranks that I got, and I've been using her basically since I started on my account. So like, I understand. Yeah, I agree with the take that I think leaps exist basically as copium to make older characters still feel kind of fun, and they, they still feel relevant to play. But I think only Liv Luminance is the only leap that I'm aware of that like has kept her meta for like any significant period of time. Whereas like the Leap Hailfire one, like it helps for like a couple patches until the Hyperreal comes and then completely irrelevant.
She's no alpha in terms of her damage or anything like that, but she's more fun. And that's the case with all the Leap buffs. They make characters more fun.
Yeah, okay.
For the meta picks, they seem to be reserved for characters they know won't be replaced for a long, long time, like in the case of Rosetta Rigger.
Yeah.
But they're desperately needed to power up a team that's lacking otherwise in order to sell that new character, such as Bianca Stigmata, who's upcoming in Global. And would I love more meta lead characters? Absolutely, 100%. But at the same time, I really recognize the struggle of new players. And I would hate to be a new player and to find myself in that position where I've gotten a character who's functionally not that good anymore. So what about
It's true. It would kind of suck to pull like outside of waifu, because I always pull for waifu, If you got Lucia Crimson Abyss, right, literally like what, a week and a half at the time of recording before Bianca Stigmata or Upstigma, whatever her localized name is, before she drops, that would suck. That'd be even worse than pulling a Bianca Veritas right now.
Starfarer. Has she been outclassed too soon? Well, she's definitely been outclassed a lot sooner than a lot of other characters. If I was betting, I never would have guessed that she'd be outclassed before Rosetta Rigger, or even Chrome Glory.
100%.
I also think it's sad that
100%.
she never got her own coatings. I imagine it's partially because she's got this huge mech that they need to account for if they were to make any, and it's just so much extra dev time to get that working.
I don't know about that. When you're talking about character skins, like maybe there's like a little more surface area, but the thing is when you're talking about hard modeling, okay, I've got like a bit of modeling experience here. When you're talking about hard modeling and surfaces, like in the case of the mech here, like you're talking about like big wide open material panels. So like it's not like every small detail or every little piece of the robot needs to be like very fine-tuned and stylized. Like it's big metal plates and pieces that like it's, as far as designing skins for models goes, I wouldn't necessarily say it's that arduous when you're talking about like a character like Bianca Stigma, for example. But that's just my take on it. I'm also an amateur at it, so I'm not going to say like I'm a working professional.
They tried something really cool with the Nami Starfarer with the big mech, but it turned out kind of jank in practice. By making her too tall, the camera did all sorts of weird things. It will still be sad to see her go though, but there might be room for double tank compositions. It wouldn't be the first time two tanks have managed to work in specific game modes. As of recording this, it's just way too early to be sure of anything.
Yeah, but I can't see Starfarer taking out, like, for example, Liv Imperia for her role as the fire team amplifier, or Starfarer taking out Lee Hyperreal in that case, though. So that means the only other person she'd have to compete with is Uncle Watanabe here. And, like, I don't know. From everything we've seen so far, she just gets completely outclassed. So, bit of copium for the Starfarer lovers out there. Appreciate it.
Besides being a fire tank, the other thing people are concerned about is Watanabe's new feature. His double S3, in the beta at least, has the ability to shorten the switching cooldown by 2 seconds. Coupled with his Fire Shred that starts at 25% and can go all the way up to 35%
Fire Shred out of the box.
if you evolve him enough. People are calling Watanabe Gen 3. The switching cooldown was something that was only available to 9S for the Nier team before now. This feature alone will probably change the rotation of the fire team drastically, which will be difficult for anyone trying to stay on top of leaderboards.
Yeah, fair caveat on there. I think 100% it's going to, like, if you are sweaty, if you're a sweaty PGR gamer and you really are trying to get like the top of Pain Cage or Warzone, in that case, then 100% that's going to matter way more. I will say for the average player, is that 2 second really going to matter on an average team that you're just trying to clear with? I'm going to go with no, in my personal opinion. But yeah, if you're going competitive, I think that just like how the time stop buff came with the Gen 2 units, I think that that switch buff is just going to be really helpful. And I bet you we're probably going to see more of it unless people are too upset about this and Kuro decides to change directions.
Whether or not all this is a good thing or a bad thing, I think remains to be seen, and it will be interesting to see how this video ages. If Kuro happens to release an
same with mine.
awesome anniversary patch alongside 2 back-to-back ice characters that completely change up how the ice team is seen, maybe people will be more forgiving of Watanabe. But if Kuro does something completely unexpected, again, it could lead to more tension. I'm
His
cautiously
animation still looks so
optimistic,
good.
but I'm totally prepared to eat my words too. So what about you? Do you think a fire tank Watanabe is a good thing for the game or a bad thing for the game? Are you upset about Nanami Starfarer? Has this upset your pull plans in some way? Or maybe you're just happy for Watanabe? Let me know in the comments. But Nanami's not dead and buried just yet. She's got over a year of relevance.
It's true, lots of playtime left.
And if you want to learn more about it,
Look, great video. They do such a good job with their content. Grey Raven Radio, absolutely love it. And I think actually her comment summarizes it well. What we can all agree on is Watanabe's new frame is sick nasty, 100%. It looks fantastic. Love the design. I just would love it even more if it was an ice attacker. That's all I'm trying to say. Or even an ice tank. Keep the tank roll. Just make them ice. Good video, good stuff. I think it was a fairly balanced take. I think they were trying not to like ruffle too many feathers on the take, but I think overall it's a pretty fair assessment. And who knows, like, I think the very fair points that she pulled out of this was that the anniversary is coming up this December, and you know, it'll be interesting to see what Kuro is cooking during that time on the CN side, because that's something, again, we have something to look forward to on the global side as we get closer to that as well. It's over a year away still regardless, so you got lots of time to use your Nanami Starfarer. I just still think, unless they're cooking up something crazy, in my humble opinion, it was just a bit of a misstep, but that's all. Anyway, great video. Thank you so much, Grey Raven Radio. As I said before, link for the full video will be in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.